What's up, y'all? It's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building, and this is your top 5 threats to Jon Bones Jones. I was supposed to do this video last week, but I forgot. But yeah, this is the last top 5 threats of the year. We've done one for every champion, for every weight class. I haven't done any for the females. I don't know if I will, but if I do, I do. I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, I did every weight class. I don't know if last year I did every weight class. I'll check if I did every weight class last year, but I think I only did the males divisions. But so yeah, it is what it is. You guys know me. Female MMA is not my parte. But besides that, let's talk about Johnny Bones Jones, man, the new champion at heavyweight. And I'm gonna talk about his top 5 threats, the threats to his championship, and can't wait to talk about. I mean, Jon Jones as the heavyweight champion is insane, man. The guy has legitimately become the GOAT, I think, of the UFC. I think that's what he was missing this run. And honestly, he looked clean. He looked clean against Cyril Gane. I don't think he cheated. And I think at this weight class, I think he'll have a lot of success because it just, we've seen it in history. The better light heavyweight will always be better than the better heavyweight. That's what I've noticed. We saw with Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, and I felt like Cormier's age is what played a factor in that trilogy going the way it did. But in the first fight, we saw it, and even in the second fight, we saw it. And Jon Jones has 2 wins over DC. So imagine what he's going to do in this heavyweight division. A lot of good guys here. Don't get it twisted, but he might be champ until he says he's done, until he calls it quits. So yeah. But obviously his legacy precedes himself. He's accomplished multiple things. First ballot Hall of Famer. But I do think someone will figure him out eventually. I truly do believe this. I think someone will beat Jon Jones one day. Truly beat him, not like not like his one loss says he lost, but he will truly get beat. And these are the top 5 threats to Jon Jones. So at number 5, I went with Alexander Volkov, man. Alexander Volkov is tall, long, lanky, just like Jon Jones. He can give Jon a lot of problems on the feet, and he'll give Jon his own, tall man contest, and reach man contest, and he'll give him some problems on the feet. Obviously, we've seen Jon Jones when he fights these taller, longer guys, he struggles. But against a guy like Volkov, I think the number one path of victory for Jon Jones is to wrestle, and he would probably wrestle in this matchup and probably get the victory. We saw with a guy like Tom Aspinall, who's also on this list, was able to take down Volkov at multiple times and was able to get the submission. I could see Jon Jones doing the same thing, but obviously Volkov coming off that win over Alexander Romanov and then Jorginho Rosenstrike, he's a legit player in this division and should not be forgotten. At number 4, I went with Tom Aspinall. I know Tom Aspinall's coming off that injury against Curtis Blaydes, and hey, it is what it is. But I mean, the guy is legit. As much as you might not like him or you might think he's a fraud, I think the kid has some of the best boxing and some of the best grappling in the division. Probably one of the more well-rounded guys and has such a high ceiling. But the only issue is that Curtis Blaydes lost. Coming off that injury, what will he be coming off that injury? Tearing your ACL like that in front of your people isn't the best feeling. And we don't know post-surgery Tom Aspinall is the same guy. We don't know if his movement will be the same. We don't know what kind of fighter he's going to be. But if he's still the same guy that fought Volkov, man, the guy is still a problem for the division. And even his wins over Sergey Pavlov has aged beautifully for him. The guy is legit. So I think a matchup with him and Jon Jones would be very interesting. But it would be a good fight. It would be a real good fight. But yeah, it is what it is. At number 3, I went with the guy that beat Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes, heavy wrestler, heavy hands. I think he'd give a lot of problems for Jon Jones. The only thing is, Curtis has somewhat of a suspect chin, and I know some people might disagree. They say, oh, he got hit by Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou. Those guys hit the hardest. But if you look at the Volkov fight, he did get hurt there in that 5th round, if you remember. And he gasped pretty bad. But Jon Jones, in this matchup, it'd be tough, man. I think Curtis would give him a run for his money. I think I'd probably rock with Curtis in this matchup. But Jon is longer, and he's also a good enough wrestler to keep it on the feet. So this fight would probably play it on the feet. But Jon doesn't have, I would say, the knockout power, or he hasn't shown any knockout power to hurt Curtis. But I think Curtis could grind him out. I really, truly, truly believe that. And but yeah. At number 2, I went with Sergey Pavlovich, the new kid on the block, the best prospect at heavyweight right now. The guy has unbelievable hand speed, some of the best boxing in the division. He's young, he's 30. He'd give Jon Jones a lot of problems, and it would be a great matchup. I think Jon would have to use his grappling here. Obviously, Jon would be. I think they both have the same reach, so Jon would obviously have to use the kicks, the body kicks, the oblique kicks, the leg kicks. Would be pretty big in this matchup. But obviously the wrestling factor. We're going to see if Sergey Pavlovich has made those wrestling improvements that he needs to be making against a guy like Curtis Blaydes in that matchup, and we're going to see who wins that. And obviously, if you can see the ranking of both those guys, you can probably tell who I'm rocking with in that matchup. But I think Sergey Pavlovich will make those adjustments in his grappling, and will be ready for Curtis Blaydes or even a potential Jon Jones matchup. And at number 1, I went with the guy that's most likely going to face Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic. I think Stipe, he falls in the line of the best matchup to beat Jon Jones, a good wrestler with good boxing. And when I'm talking about good wrestling, I'm talking about good defensive wrestling. You look at a guy like Dominic Reyes, good defensive wrestling, decent boxing. And good output boxing. Even in the second fight against DC with Jon Jones, DC did really, really good. He was winning that fight, in my humble opinion. At least the second round he was winning until he got knocked out. Good wrestling, good boxing from DC. And then last but not least, Alexander Gustafsson. At the time, Alexander Gustafsson had good defensive wrestling and good boxing. And that's what gave Jon Jones some of his biggest problems. A guy like that, and Stipe Miocic falls in that line. And I think Miocic can give him some problems. I really, really do. Now, do I think Jon Jones goes out there and probably mutilates him? Maybe. But I think Miocic, he can really win this fight. I truly believe that. And I think it could be a really, really good fight. And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm pulling the trigger. I am picking Stipe Miocic to beat Jon Jones. I'm saying it right now. I think Stipe Miocic can do it. I'm not the biggest fan of him. Never will be. But, man, Jon Jones, I just, that Cyril Gane fight is just such a weird fight to me. You know, the way it went, how it ended. It just doesn't make any sense, and I don't use that as an outlier for the whole division. I don't think every guy is going to end up in those kind of scrambles in that kind of position. I think Stipe Miocic can give Jon Jones some problems, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, it is what it is. That is my top 5 threats for Jon Jones in the heavyweight division. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter. Like, comment, and share the video. Let's get this eBay Fight Prediction Nation growing. Love y'all, and goodbye.